Welcome to my home lab. In this new video, we're going to set up Pi-Hole and Unbound. In the last part, we're going to use Redis as a cache. In a previous video, we installed Pi-Hole in a Docker compose file. You found the link in the upper right corner of this video. Today, we're gonna update the Docker compose file with Unbound, a caching DNS resolver, and in the last part, we're gonna use Redis as cache. We start this tutorial with a working version of Pi-Hole. You can log in. As you can see, it's working. We have total queries, blocked queries, and the domain on the list. The code for this you can find on my GitHub account. You see, we used a MacVlan network. Now we can open Visual Studio Code. You see, we are on remote connection. I have here many Docker compose files, but today we do Pi-Hole. Found here the code. The only thing I changed is the MacVlan network. We changed the range. Now we're going to use 192.168.129.97. The first thing we do is to add the Unbound code for our Docker compose file. Copy it and paste it in under here. Then you see here Unbound container name. We used this image. You have different images, but I use this one. Depends on Redis. Is for this moment we can leave it out. That's for later this video. The ports, we don't need that because we use a MacVlan network. But I put it here as comment. We have a health check and we have two volumes, Unbound config and Unbound log. We're going to create that in a moment because we need to change the permissions. Restart unless stopped and the network. Here we used 192.168.129.97. Here we use 98. You see, we are in this range. Also, here we can remove the ports. So we comment out all the ports. And voilà. That's okay. Now we put depends on Unbound. Copy it here and paste it in. Below image, we paste in depends on Unbound. So that means first we run Unbound, and if Unbound is ready, we can start Pi-Hole. Later we add Redis, but that's for later on this video. So first we need to create a volume Unbound. Therefore we open terminal, new terminal. You see we are in the Docker directory, so in this directory So we need to change to Pi-Hole. We do ls hole. You see, we have the Docker Compose file, this one here, and the Pi-Hole directory. We create a directory Unbound, mkdir, Unbound. See, it's here. Go a little down. So first we need Unbound, see it here. Now we go inside this container. Do ls. Of course, it's empty. And now we create config and log. So again, mkdir, config, and mkdir log. We do ls hole, et voilà. But because the files are on my name, I have full permission, but not all. We need to change the permissions from the directories and later on the files. So first we do chmod 777 config, and again for log ls hole, et voilà. We have total control. Later on you can adjust these permissions, but for testing it's better to open it for all. For the next step, we go back to our browser, to the Pi-Hole documentation website, guides, DNS, Unbound. We click on it, go down, and you see we have to create a config file. See it here. So we go back to Visual Studio Code. We open the Unbound directories we have created here. We have config, new file, Pi-Hole.conf. Okay, et voilà, we have it here. Now we go back to the site and copy the content. Copy it, Visual Studio Code, and paste it in. The first thing we need to do is to change the buffer size. Because we use Docker, 1 megabyte is too much. We change it to 400. Voilà. Next, we're going to change the log. You see here, we have log file. Normal log file is var log unbound log. We have already the directory, so we create a file unbound log. Et voilà. Now we have all the directories needed for our setup. We have config Pi-Hole.conf and log unbound.log. See it here. But we have to change the permissions for Pi-Hole.conf and unbound log. So first we go inside config. We do ls hole. As you can see, we have read write, read and read. So again, for testing, we open it with 777. So chmod 777 Pi-Hole.conf. Okay, again ls home, and voila. This file is ready. Next, we go back one directory, ls, and we open the log directory. So log to ls home. Again, our log file is only read-write for me and read for the group and all the users. Again, chmod 777 unbound log ls home, and voila. The log file is also ready. Now we're going to change the config file with some additions. The next step is to configure the logging. We make some room and paste in the code. As you can see, we have a couple of logging levels. You see now it's 0. So 0 is only errors. You have level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we can log all the queries, the replies, the server failure, the local actions, and the time ASCII. We put it all to yes. If we don't want a log file, we configure def null. Or if we want a log file, we put var log unbound log. So we have here our unbound log file in our log directory. So we changed the level to 5 only for testing, because we're going to have a lot of logging in the log file. The next step is to change the interface to 0. And the port to 53, because we use a MacVlan network, we can save the port 53. We do IP4, UDP, and TCP. IP6 for me is no, but you can change it if you want. No, yes, all the rest is okay. Only the privacy we're going to adjust. I copy some IP addresses for access control and paste it in here. So I do local host, my IP address range, and the IP address from all the Docker containers. The private can stay like it is, but you can change it if you want. In my case, I don't have 169.10. I don't have IPv6. So if you want, you can remove that. But for now, that's okay. We save the file. See, it's saved. We go back to our terminal. Go back a couple of directories, and we are again in Pi-Hole. We do ls. You see, we have our Docker compose file. So we can do Docker compose up. For the moment, we don't do the detach mode because we want to see the log files. Enter. It's downloading, it's creating, and you see we have a couple of logs, but we don't have errors. So that's very okay. Et voilà. We are ready. We go up, and as you can see, first we run Unbound, and next Pi-Hole. Now we can open our Unbound log, and you see we have a whole thing of info. But as you can see, we only have debug and info. That means we don't have errors. But you see, verbosity number 5 gives a lot of logs. It's better to do it 1. Only gives operational information. So again, we do Ctrl S to save the file, go back to our terminal and stop container, do down. See, everything is okay. Now we do Docker Compose up in detach mode. Enter. Et voilà. Everything is running. We can open our browser again. Go back to Pi-Hole. Log in. And voilà. We are in. Now we go to Settings. System. DNS. But you see, we still have our Google DNS servers. We need to change that. Therefore, we go back to Visual Studio Code, to our Docker Compose file, go up to Pi-Hole and uncomment FTL.conf DNS upstreams. We change that. We do 192.168.129.9.8. The rest you can comment out. So we have 192.168.129.9.8. 9.8 is the IP address from our Unbound container. See here. So this one and this one have to be the same. Again, we save the file, go back to our terminal and down the container. Container is stopping. Okay, and again up detach mode. Okay, everything is running. We don't have errors. We go back to our browser. Et voilà. The Google is gone and we see custom DNS servers, one custom server enabled, and the IP address from our Unbound container. 192.168.129.9.8. If we go back to Visual Studio Code, go back to the Unbound directory, and you see here, okay, you see we have now and then some logs. That means everything is working and we are secured. In the next step, we're gonna add Redis as a cache to our containers. For this last step, we stop the container again. So Docker Compose down, enter, stopping. Okay. The Unbound log file we're going to delete. So we select all and delete it and save it. We go back to our Docker Compose, go down make some space and paste in the Redis code. I copy it, go here and paste it in. Here we have a new service, Redis, image Redis latest, the container name Redis, the host name Redis, restart unless stopped. We have one volume, Redis, so it's going to come here to data, network. Again, we have a new IP address, 192.168.129.99. We're going to need that in a moment. We have also a health check. Et voilà. Can remove that. We save it. Now, we depend on Redis. We uncomment that. We go up. And here we put also Redis. So, Redis. So that means first Redis is starting up, then Unbound, and last Pi-Hole. Save it. But we need to configure Unbound. Therefore, we go to our Unbound directory, config, and create a new file. We call it cache-db config. So, new file, cache-db.conf. The name is, you can choose whatever you want, but the .conf has to be exactly. Unbound looks in this directory to all the files with conf extension. Enter, you have the file. You can paste in the code, paste it. So we have server, you see that here. Yeah, we also start with server, module, validator, cache-db, iterator, cache-db has to be the same. The backend is Redis. The server host is 192.168.129.99. So the IP address from Redis. The port 6379 and expire records, yes. We save it. And we need to change the permissions. So we go to our terminal, do ls. So we are here. We go inside Unbound, enter, do ls again. So here we have config and log. We go inside the config, ls again, and you see we have our Pi-Hole config file and the new cache-db config. I cleared the screen, do ls all. See, cache-db has only read-write for me and read for all the rest. So we need to change chmod 777 cache-db.conf. Et voilà. If we do now all, we have the right permissions. So everything is saved. We have our new Docker Compose file with Redis, the config file for Redis, the Pi-Hole config file. We go to our Unbound log file, clear the terminal, and do Docker Compose up in detach mode. You see, we're downloading Redis because it's the first time. It's not so big. Very quickly. Almost there. See? Not so long. Et voilà. We create all the containers. Et voilà. We have our first log files. And we are busy. As you can see, we have connected to Redis established. 192.168.129.99. Port 6379. So everything seems to be okay. And we are have logs. We are at the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up or leave a comment. Thank you very much and see you later.